Hey guys, Shalana here. Welcome to the Bin Zone. On today's video, we're going to talk about number 5 of the Umbrella Academy, arguably the most powerful member of the Umbrella Academy. And I have a question for you guys because it's about to get spicy in the comment sections. Who do you think is more powerful, Vanya or number 5? Space-time manipulation or energy and sound wave manipulation to the point where you could bust the moon? Let me know it in the comment section below. But if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more Umbrella Academy breakdowns, more reviews, more Ending Explains. And if you guys want to talk about this more one-on-one or actually debate me on who's more powerful, follow me on Twitter because we can talk one-on-one there. With that being said, let's get into number 5. And stop me again if you've heard this before. But on October 1st, 1989, 43 women gave birth to, you guys know the spiel, 43 women gave birth to people with powers. Reginald comes in, takes them, names them aptly based on their usage rate to him. And number 5 is named number 5 as in the 5th most useful to Reginald Hargreaves. Now, this is an interesting nomenclature because you would think number 5 having arguably the best power, space-time manipulation, he would be the most useful to Reginald. But remember, it's not just about what your ability can do. It's also about how much of you can Reginald control. And number 5 was one who was never controllable. And that's because of his pride and his hubris. Having arguably the best power, he felt he was above all the other members and he was above Reginald. And that's why he became the 5th most useful, because Reginald can't control him. He's powerful and he knows he's powerful. And while being raised and trained by Reginald, he always felt that Reginald was holding him back and he wanted to tap into the full scope of his powers without training. And that's how he ends up jumping into the future a few days after the apocalypse, and he ends up living in the future for close to 60 years alone with nobody else. Because he was able to time travel, but he was unable to travel back in time because he didn't have any training. He didn't even know how he traveled into the future. He just knew that he could. And he was stuck there for almost 60 years until he was approached by the 10th Commission. The 10th Commission is a commission dedicated to preserving the timeline. And they offered him a sweet deal. If he worked for them for 5 years, he could retire to any time period that he wanted. Their job is simple. They go throughout history, throughout time, and they make sure the events that are supposed to happen in accordance to history, and no one fucks up the infinite timeline. Because when it comes to Umbrella Academy, we're not just dealing with one type of timeline. Umbrella Academy actually looks at the many worlds theory, grandfather paradoxes, and many other time theories, and it's a lot to get into in one video, so we're going to focus mainly on number 5. And once number 5 begins to work for the temp agency, he realizes how to get back to his family using his own powers, and he's able to teleport back to 2019, which for him is a few days before the apocalypse. However, he comes back in his 13-year-old body while everyone else is in their 30s. This is 17 years after he's gone missing. And to the Umbrella Academy members, it's a shocker because this is their brother back. However, even though he's in a 13-year-old's body, he's still over 60 years old because of how long he spent living alone. And as if he didn't already think he was smarter and more mature than the rest of the Umbrella Academy members, the fact that he's actually older, more mature, and wiser than everybody else, it really shows in the way he interacts with them, as well as the weight of responsibility that he carries. And he feels burdened with the weight of saving his brother and sister because, again, while he isn't the leader of the Umbrella Academy, he has the most powerful power, and he is the most prideful and believes that with the greater power comes the greater responsibility, and him having mastery of space and time, not mastery, but control of space and time, because he's not a master yet, but with him having that power, he feels the weight of all that on his shoulders. But let's look at number 5's abilities. Number 5 can teleport and he can time travel. And those two things are linked together in space-time manipulation because teleportation is instantly moving from one space to another at the exact same time. So with that very notion of instantaneous travel, you can already see the seeds of time travel working in itself. Because for you to move from one place to another instantaneously or at the same time means that your abilities work outside of time. The ability to deconstruct and reconstruct yourself somewhere else works outside of space and time. Number 5 seems to be able to bend space to his will. So essentially, we all live in a world and we occupy space. So wherever you're watching this video you're occupying space on the earth, and I'm occupying space here. And if I had number 5's ability, I could bend space to the point where, look at it this way. This is where you are, this is where I am. But number 5 can go from here to here, your same space. And he can do that instantaneously. And that's not by him running to you or walking to you or flying to you. That's by him bending space and putting himself close to you. Teleportation in itself as a power is miraculous, but number 5's control or extent of his ability not only bends space towards each other, but think of us occupying space here and time being above. Time goes forward, never backwards. Number 5 can actually bend time to him, bend it backwards, bend it forwards, not just teleporting and manipulating people he touched and things close to him, but we also saw that he's able to actually manipulate things that he isn't touching. We saw that he was able to switch positions of a gun and a stapler by virtue of just doing it. So not only can he bend himself, but he can bend those around him. As we saw in the finale of season 1, he was able to grab his siblings and time travel them all outside of the apocalypse. While his control over time isn't as masterful as his control over space, while bending space is in itself a very powerful ability and teleportation and bending matter is very complex, bending time is even more complex because we all live in a three-dimensional world, right? Everything around us is 3D. But then when you enter time into it, time is fourth dimensional. So number 5 is not only manipulating the 3D space around him, but he's also manipulating the fourth dimensional space around him. And that's a lot to actually process because the manipulation of time itself it's hard because think about it. If I were to ask you, what is time? How would you explain that concept to me? Let alone manipulating such an abstract concept as time. It takes a genius to actually be able to pull that off. And the fact that number 5, even though he doesn't have control over it, is able to actually manipulate time in that manner, it shows just how smart and just how resourceful he is. And he has great reason to be because of his power and his mastery or lack of mastery of it. He has control over one of the fundamental forces of existence, that's space and that's time. Manipulation of that would make him the most powerful member of the Umbrella Academy. But then again, we have Vanya, who's able to blow up a moon. So like I said earlier in the video, I'd love to hear your comments about who you think is more powerful in the comment section below. And guys, that's it for number 5 on this video. I'd love to hear your feedback. I want to know who you think, number 5 or Vanya. Number 5 or Vanya is really a question that's been plaguing my mind because they both have control over the fundamental laws of physics of this world. Space and time manipulation is a fundamental law of physics. And Vanya has the ability to control the electromagnetic spectrum, which in itself is another very fabric of creation. So we go from Luther, super strength, the most useful to Reginald Hargreaves, to number 5, 6, and 7, the more powerful members of the Umbrella Academy. And you would think they should be ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as level of power, but then they're harder to control because controlling the fabric of existence is a lot to handle. But anyway, guys, I want to hear your comments in the comment section below. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and until next time, binge on.